Hey guys, Dylan from Noblerecordstore here. I'm trying to get out here and make this video. Just been crazy, but this is the video you've all been waiting on. Maybe, you might not even know about it. This is my GRAIL video. Lately I've gotten a bunch of GRAILs, stuff I've really wanted, and I try not to overuse the word GRAIL, but this is some stuff that I've wanted for years and just have not been able to find for whatever reason. So just the past month, I've gotten so many records that are on my want list. Like, my want list is cut in half. So these are some of the highlights from that stuff I've gotten. Before anybody asks, none of it's for sale. It's all mine. So anyways, what's on the turntable right now is for Deadheads only. This is a 3 LP Grateful Dead bootleg, Capitol Theater 1978. This is pretty cool. I've always wanted it, and I'll tell you about kind of where I got this in a little bit. But I'm just going to jump right into it and get started because it's going to take a little bit. So this is one I've always wanted. This is a 45 of, it's a Japanese import of Black Dog and Misty Mountain Hop. That's the front, that's the back. Pretty cool, the front. This one, there's a blues band from Uruguay called Dsd Blues, and I'll take it out so you can see the cover. There's a little bit of backstory on this one. This was it was recorded in 1972, released in 1973. It's extremely rare. This is like blues psych. So there was another band that these guys were in, and for whatever reason they broke up. I think they lost one member, and then they rejoined, started this band called Dsd Blues. They recorded this album, and it is absolutely just incredible blues rock. I mean, it's unbelievable. I can't believe this is not more popular than it is, but first time I heard it, my mind was blown. I was like, I gotta get an original press of this. And come to find out, they didn't press them in the US. They only pressed them in Argentina and Uruguay. So the Uruguay press is the first press with this cover. This was from a small town called Montevideo, Uruguay, that they were from. They basically, it was during the downfall of the government and economy and everything that they released this album, so it did not do well. It only sold a few hundred copies. But this album art was, somebody drew this that lived in their town, and they released it, and they got some following there in Uruguay. They toured around Uruguay a little bit, and then because of the economy and whatever, from what I can tell, they just broke up because the album didn't do well. So then the record label tried to release it in Uruguay with a different cover, but kind of without the context of the cover was such a huge part of it, I thought, because somebody that they knew in their town had drawn it. They released it with a different cover that wasn't nearly as cool, and it just flopped. So the band just gave up. But this is a original Uruguayan first pressing, which I cannot tell you how impossible this is to find. Never thought I would be holding this. I actually just met a guy that was from Uruguay. It was from their hometown that knew the band. I met him online, and I asked him, I was like, by chance, do you have this? He said, yeah, I have it. And he sold it to me at a ridiculously generous price, and I just never thought I would be able to own this. But guys, look this up. If you like blues rock and psych rock, if you like that, look this up. It's incredible. It's phenomenal. So that's great. This next one you guys probably have all heard of. This is an original mono of 13th floor elevators. The psychedelic sounds of the 13th floor elevators. Guys, I could go on and on and on about this, but you guys probably already heard this record and know all about it. This is one that's been a GRAIL for me. I've never actually even had a copy of this, not even a reissue. I've just always hoped to find an original, which is crazy because they're impossible to find. But the story behind this is I met a guy that was getting rid of some psych stuff a while back. Bought a couple things off of him, not anything major. Then he sent me an email saying that he was getting rid of a bunch more stuff. He was pretty much just liquidating his whole collection. So he's selling me good things little by little by little. So I think he's got about 2,500 that he's trying to sell. So I don't know that I could afford them all at once anyways, but he's selling them to me little by little. This was one of the first ones that I got from him, and I'm just blown away that I have this. I got this really cheap because I'm buying a bunch of stuff from him. So this is an original mono 13th floor elevator, psychedelic sounds, and I'll show you the label while I'm at it. Let's see here, I'll pull it up now. Got that original mono. It's fairly clean. It's not perfect, but it's I mean it's original mono. So you know, what do you do? This is another one that I got from him. Gosh, I'm trying not to tell me too many stories. This is called Pugsley Munyon, Just Like You. Pugsley Munyon was a band. I can't remember exactly the town that they're from, but they're from a small town somewhere. They're three guys that just gotten out of high school. They toured a little bit in high school when they got out of high school. They recorded a demo. It ended up on the desk of this record label, the executive or whatever for J&S Records. I think they primarily did like soul and stuff like that, but they hadn't done anything big in a while. They were looking for their next big thing, so they signed Pugsley Munyon to a record deal. The band came in. It's just a three-piece band. You got a drummer, a bass player, and a guitar player, and they sing. So they came in the studio in 2 days, recorded an album. They wanted to go back and like put an organ in there and some other things and some backing vocals and stuff like that. But to their surprise, the record label just released the album as is. They didn't remix it. They just threw it together and put it out there. They had a cover that was drawn by one of their roadies. It was a picture of the band that he had drawn that they wanted as the cover. They lost that picture that the guy drawn, and they put it out like this. It also wasn't supposed to be called Just Like You. I can't remember what they said it was supposed to be called, but Just Like You was the single off of it that they released. So the record label really just screwed them over in their whole creative process and making this album. And so, you know, they got a really bad taste in their mouth. They toured around locally, but then eventually just one of the members got drafted. So this is a picture of the band. It's a promo picture that came in the sleeve. It's hard to find them with this still in, but that's a picture of the band. But anyway, so one of the members got drafted, and so they kind of fizzled a little bit. He got medically discharged, and when he got out and got back, they started the band back up, and they are still touring today. And they just never made it big like they should have, because I mean, I'm telling you, that album is killer. I mean, it's blues rock in the same vein. There's some good riffs in there, and it's one I've been looking for a long time, and it is impossible to find. You just don't see them ever. So that's a great pickup. So another one I got from him is Armageddon. This is a really cool Psych record. This is a promo copy. I didn't know a whole lot about this. Ended up getting it. I listened to it a couple days ago. I really liked it. It's just kind of a typical Psych record. It's fairly deep. It's got some good blues riffs in there too. This one I was really excited about getting. This is T2. It'll all work out in Bloomland. This is 1970 Decca Records, or London, rather. This is one that I had this a few years ago. Well, I say a few years ago. I had this probably about 7 years ago. And I never listened to it. I bought a collection and it was in it. And I looked up what it was worth, and it was worth a lot. And I think I got like over $100 for it. I don't know. I can't remember. But these are really hard to find and really expensive when you do find it. It's an excellent Psych record. And he had it, and I was thrilled to get it from. This one's in really good shape. So that's one. That's a killer one. I mean, that's one I've been looking for a long time. I don't want to spend too much time on each album, but that's one I've been looking for a long time. This is another one I've been looking for a long time. I had a copy of this. This is an original Stooges, self-titled. I had a copy of this. I've told you guys 100 times about how a couple years ago I purged everything and sold everything. I had one of these then and sold it. This one's actually nicer than the one I had. This is not a first. This is a, you know, I know that the originals, the first doesn't have that Stooges right there on the label. This is an early second, but as long as it's an original one, I'm not too picky about that. I'd love to get one that's at first, but whatever. This is a great copy to have, and I've been looking for this for a couple of years. Since I got rid of that one, I was like, man, I gotta find another one, and I've been looking for years, and wouldn't you know it, last week, well, here's the other one. I found two. This one has some water damage on the top, but you know, I found two. There's one, and here's the other one. So actually I already sold that one to a good buddy of mine. And then, so then he also had this one. This is I'm on Duel on Prophesy Records. This is a cool record. It's a little bit out there. I will say this pressing sounds like crap. I don't know why. It just doesn't sound good. It's clean. It just don't sound good to me. I don't know. But it's a rare record. It's pretty good. It's kind of spacey, far out psych rock. This one I've been looking for a while too. The Animated Egg. This is on Marble Arch. This isn't. I think this is a UK pressing. I don't think it's not an original. I don't know much about this pressing, but I saw it and he had it, and I was like, well, might as well go for it. I got it for super cheap, so I was like, well, it's an Animated Egg. It'll hold me. This is one he also had. This is a reissue. This is the Ant Trip Ceremony. 24 Hours is the name of the album. This, if you can't tell by the cover, is freaking nuts. This is not one I was looking for, but he had it, and I was like, well, if he's got it, it's got to be good. And it is very good. Originals of this go for a couple grand, you know, so I definitely wouldn't pay that for it. But this is a reissue. I think I got it for like $10. It's really good. It's really good psych rock. It's out there. If you like it weird and crazy, like I know a lot of you guys do, you'd love this. So let's see here. This one, I told you guys in my video that my GRAIL, my #1 GRAIL in my vinyl biography video, is this Randy Holden Population 2. This is not an original. This is a reissue, but I'm just glad to have it on vinyl. This album is really important to me. Oh, gosh, it's a long, crazy story, this whole album. But basically, Randy Holden, he got forced out of Blue Cheer. He played in Blue Cheer. If you've heard the album New Improved, the best part of the album is him and his songs he wrote. He's just crazy good, incredible guitar player. Has just an incredible tone. I love him. Anyways, the best thing Blue Cheer ever did was have him in there. And he only played on half of that album, New Improved. The record label kind of forced him out. They said he was too loud and crazy, I guess. I don't know. And they didn't like him, so he went to do his own thing. He got a drummer. He sings and plays guitar on this. It's incredible. He wrote the whole thing. It's phenomenal. I mean, every track. I love this album. I cannot tell you how much I love this album. And then the record label, Hobbit Records, did some like shady stuff and released it behind his back and really screwed him out of it. And so then after that, he quit music. For 25 years, he never touched a guitar at all. And then in the early 90s, a fan of his sent him a guitar for free, one that he'd been wanting, and he picked it up and started playing and couldn't put it down, so he's still playing music today. But this album is phenomenal. It's great. This is one, I know a couple of you guys are going to be like, what? Because we've talked about it a little bit here in the VC, but this is an original, first Japanese pressing of Flower Traveling Band Satori. This, guys, I cannot tell you. When I showed it, I uploaded a video a while ago on YouTube of this. I just did the whole album, recorded the whole album, and it got pulled. I didn't think it would because this wasn't anywhere on iTunes or anything. I thought it was rare enough to where it wouldn't get pulled. There's the back cover. Here's the inside. But Gapo, which is killer. I thought it wouldn't get pulled, but it did, and I was really bummed about it. But a lot of you guys got to hear it, so which was great. And everybody's like, I'm assuming that's the reissue. That's not an original. Check it out. It's on the Atlantic label. It's just killer. Someone I knew had one, and we talked about it, and they weren't ready to get rid of it, and they finally budged on it and called me, and ended up getting a copy of this. But man, this is so rare, so hard to find, and they only pressed them in Japan. They had a Canadian pressing, but it had a different cover. So the only original pressing you can get with this cover is the Japanese pressing. It doesn't have the OBI, which I'm actually not that torn up about. I'm just thrilled to have an original Japanese pressing of this. It's absolutely crazy. I mean, it's crazy that I'm holding it. That's how rare it is. So when I purged everything, like I mentioned in the Stooges video, I purged my copy of the Velvet Underground and Nico self-titled. This is the exact copy, the exact pressing that I had before with the peeled banana and everything. The one I had before, I think I got it for like 40 bucks. It was a steal of a deal. And I was like, oh, I'll find another one. And I didn't see another one forever. And about 6 months ago, I found one in a garage somewhere. Some guy was selling a bunch of records out of a garage, and I got a copy for $6. And that was this copy I got. It's in great shape. No complaints. Love it. But I've always wanted one with the banana on it. The other day, I uploaded a video of that estate sale. The guy wanted $200 for his copy that had the banana on it. A little update on that. I thought the guy was crazy. I'm like, you're never going to sell this. I mean, the bottom's had a huge seam split. I was like, you know, what you ever sell this for $200? It's a third state. You know, it's got the peel, but it's otherwise not in great shape. And he's like, I'll sell it for $200. The guy behind me bought it for $200. I couldn't believe it. Anyways. But anyway, so I was bummed about it because I was really looking forward to getting a copy. And not a day later, got this little bad boy. Now, I won't tell you what I paid for it because I don't want to make y'all sick. But this is one with the peel. I'll take it out and show it to you. I've always wanted one with a peel, and I've never seen one. I've never held one in my hands till that yard sale, or that estate sale. And then I was bummed to let it go. But this one has the peel. Somebody listed this on eBay as a Velvet Underground and Nico reissue with a printed cover, is what it said, printed banana cover. And I looked at it, and I saw some pink right here, right there, if you can see it. Some pink right there. And I said, you know what, that really looks like there's a banana still on there. And what they did was they didn't really know what they had, and they went in and they saw, you know, sometimes you search for, if you're posting on eBay, so you guys know what I'm talking about, you'll go on and you'll find the album that you're trying to sell, and then you click on it, and then you click on sell one like this or whatever, and it'll completely copy the whole listing, and you just put your price in there and the condition, and you just repost it. That's what they did. They didn't really look at what it was, and so I got it for nothing. I mean, it's crazy the price I got this at. I never thought I'd be able to have one of these, and I'm blown away that I have it. Now, the banana peel is in pretty good shape. This is a third state, so it's not a torso or anything, but I'm okay with that. It's a really nice copy. The vinyl is actually nicer than the one I already had, so I'm not sure if I'm going to sell the one that's already peeled or not. It's kind of nice to have one that's peeled and one that's not. Okay, this next batch comes from a guy from the VC. I'm not going to share his name because I don't know that he wants everybody to know this, but this is a really cool story, so I'm going to share the story. He lays cable for a cable company. I don't know if it's a TV cable or internet cable, I don't know. But he goes to people's basements and attics and stuff all the time to lay this cable. And so when he sees records in people's attics and basements and stuff, he always says to people, hey, if you want to sell the records, let me know, or whatever. And he says a lot of times people will just give it to him. He said people give him records all the time. People sell him records for really cheap all the time. And he finds some of the craziest stuff in these people's attics and garages and basements and stuff. So me and him worked out a little bit of a deal, and he sent me some stuff that, you know, I've been looking for. The first one, I'll just come out hot with it. The first one, if you guys seen some of my videos, you've seen me mention Mighty Baby, which it's not close enough where I can grab it, but Mighty Baby, their self-titled record, is one of my favorite Psych records in the world. I found it, I was stoked to find it, and I was doing some more research on them. I was like, they have a second album. And it's impossible to find. The second album's even rarer than the first. You know, I've been looking for it, kinda, but it's kind of one of those things where I almost even, there's no way I'll ever find it, so whatever. You know, I've got an alert for it on my phone if it ever pops up on eBay, but originals never, ever, ever, ever do. I think they only pressed them in the UK. I could be wrong about that, but I don't think they ever pressed them in the US. Just extremely rare to find. And he found one. It says Mighty Baby, A Jug of Love. This is, I cannot tell you how ridiculously rare this is. They have some reissues, but this is an original UK pressing of A Mighty Baby, A Jug of Love. It's just super rare. This one's a lot more acoustic bass, softer rock than their first one, but it's still very good. And to have both of them, I'm thrilled. I'm telling you guys, this album on Discogs, I mean, it goes for like $600. It's rare, super rare. Got it for a really good price from him. This next one is one I never thought I'd have. This is David Bowie, Man of Words, Man of Music. This is super rare. It's an original. You just don't see this stuff ever. And this is a pretty solid copy. It's not perfect, but I'm thrilled to have that. This one I'd never heard of till he mentioned it to me. This is called Asherah Temple. This is in such good shape. He bought it. He found it somewhere at a record store, and they said this is a reissue. And he got it home. He looked at it, and he's like, he checked the matrix numbers and all that stuff, and he's like, this is not a reissue. This is an original. And he got it home and looked at it and really looked it over. And this sticker says Made in Germany. They only put those on the original German pressings. This is actually a second pressing. I think this was pressed in 75. I think the first was in 72. But these are really rare, but it's in such nice shape that the record store owner just assumed it was an original. That's how nice this one is. This is a prog rock, pretty out there, crazy prog rock record. It's real spacey, real ambient. I love it. I really like it. Let me take it out of the cover just to show you. It has these panels that open up. Hold on, let me take the record out. So it has these panels that open up like this. Just really cool stuff to show you how crazy it is. But yeah, I don't want to interact with it too much because I want to keep it real nice looking. But anyways, so that was a really cool find from him. This is another one from him that I've been wanting for a long time. He said it's his favorite album. This is the Troll Animated Music. This is one that I've just been looking for forever, and just you don't see it. So I'm really thrilled to have this. You never see them at a cheap price, and he gave me a really good deal on this one. It's like, yeah, it's not a perfect copy. It's not in great shape, but it plays really well. If you don't know this record, this is an essential psychedelic classic. I mean, it is hard hitting. It's really good psych. Really strongly recommend this. This next one, I've been looking for an original pressing for a long time. I think he found one, so he sold me his. The Kinks are Village Green Preservation Society. This is Japanese pressing, obviously, with the OBI. You see the label there. But this is one that this is my favorite Kinks record. I absolutely love it. And this is a really nice pressing of it, and it sounds incredible. So I'm really thrilled to have that. And then this one is one I've kind of been looking for a few years. I haven't been looking like hot pursuit after it, but it's one I've been kind of wanting. This is Magma. I think this is a French pressing. But this is a prog psych record. Really great. It's on Philips. This is a really great sounding pressing of it. I absolutely love this record. I spun it the other day and I forgot how much I liked it. I mean, it's just a really strong album. But he had it and I couldn't resist grabbing it from him. Try to make this video as short as I can, guys, but those are the ones that I've just been so super stoked about. Hope you guys enjoyed watching. Any of these albums I vouched for that are great. Like, really check out these albums. Some GRAILs in there, as like I said. If you watched our last video, you might know that we started a podcast. Our podcast is up. It's on iTunes and Spotify. You have to search it on Spotify. Just search. It's called Vinyl Biography Podcast, or just Vinyl Biography. And I'm going to put a link to the iTunes. If you want to listen to it on iTunes, I'll put that link in the description of this video. But guys, I appreciate you watching. Appreciate all your positive feedback. Really stoked about this podcast. The trailer's up now, and the first episode will be up next Friday. So thanks for watching. See you guys soon.